The third game for the 1958 New York Giants came against the Washington Redskins at Old Griffith Stadium. Of course, Griffith Stadium was most famous as a baseball park, but they played football there too. Unfortunately, all of the photos I found came from before 1958, but they give you an idea. Anyway, Washington had a young team in 1958 and looked like a team with a good chance to dethrone the unstoppable Cleveland Browns. Both the Giants and the Redskins were 1-1 after frustrating Week 2 losses. In the end, in this game, New York's defense held strong. Though the Redskins threw for over 230 yards, the Giants held firm and won a 21-14 victory in the end. And it was quarterback Charlie Connerly who was the main star in front of the crowd of 30,000 people. New York won this one with a long fourth quarter drive and on the back of an excellent defensive effort. And hi and welcome back, guys. It's time for game 3 of our little series, and we'll go ahead and get going here. I'll turn everything on over here to the Tecmo Super Bowl game, which is running in the background. So I'll tell you, this is going to be a pretty interesting game. We'll see how we do against the Redskins and their excellent passing game, at least in theory. I probably could have talked a little bit more about exactly who it is they had, but we'll go ahead and just sort of leave it like this. This is only showing us the Giants and the Redskins here in the Eastern Division. This screen is kind of screwed up, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but so it is. We'll just go ahead and play the game. And Frank Gifford's going to come back to our team, which is going to be very, very helpful for us on offense. So now the interesting thing about the Washington Redskins from this era that I did not mention in the introduction is that the Redskins at that time were very much a racially segregated team. The Redskins, largely because they were trying to draw from potential crowds in the southern United States, had no black players. It was an all-white team back in 1958. The rest of the NFL by that time was integrated. And so that gives you kind of an idea of the sort of ownership you were dealing with here in the Washington Redskins. Anyway, the interesting thing about this game, of course, is that it took place at old... I didn't even do anything for that sack. It took place at Old Griffith Stadium, which, as I mentioned, was a... hey, we got him. It was famous as a baseball stadium, Griffith Stadium, that is. That's where the Washington Senators played for all of those years back in the day. Anyway, so you probably don't think of Griffith Stadium so much as like the park where the Redskins played, especially if you're used to, you know, RFK Stadium and stuff like that, especially if you're like from around this area, you kind of remember the things that happened back in the days and all that stuff. Yeah, we'll take the short pass, although I think I was tackled right after the catch. I was. But yeah, we'll take that short gain, no problem. Oh man, I was hoping we could sort of pass through that, and we were unfortunately unable to in the end. But I think we got a touchdown here, and we do. How about that? Anyway, so that's a little bit of historical trivia there for you about the Washington Redskins and the things that were actually happening back in 1958 and so on in this era. The Redskins, as you'll recall, were really the team of the South until the Dallas Cowboys finally came along, and they came along largely because of the threat posed by the American Football League, which had actually established franchises in Texas and parts of the South. So there's probably more to it than that. I'm going actually off the top of my head, so if I get anything wrong, don't feel too confused. I probably actually did get it wrong. I don't know football history off the back of my hand kind of the way that I know baseball history, just so you know. So some of this stuff is still a little bit sort of not entirely clear to me. That was actually a nice catch, so we'll give that to him. By the way, one of the things that I noticed, so if you haven't seen, I did a video earlier today sort of summarizing the Ottawa Red Black series. If you haven't seen it yet, you probably should go and watch it. It's kind of fun. It's worth it. That video will give you sort of an idea of kind of what strategy it is that I tend to use in these types of series when we're playing with sort of the juiced mode. That was a really nice run, by the way. This time I can't exactly blame the secondary. It's actually my fault for missing that tackle. Anyway, but yeah, if you have, the time, you should go check out the video about sort of summing things up. I just talk about sort of like how I play against the juiced mode and the things that I learned from that. What I noticed though when I was watching through this is when I was watching through my older games with the Redskins, I can see myself, or with the Red Blacks rather, I can see myself making all sorts of mistakes that I didn't realize I was making at the time. One of the other things I noticed when I started looking at clips I have of the sort of vanilla version of Tecmo Super Bowl is just how slow it is, which is something I didn't notice kind of beforehand, but vanilla Tecmo Super Bowl is too slow for me now. After playing that with the Red Blacks, I don't think that there's any possible way that I can go back to sort of the way that the out-of-the-box game works, because, I mean, it's just too slow, right? Not only were the players in those clips from my own team too slow, but I look at the other teams and I'm like, this is just ridiculous how slow this is. Alright, so anyway, that was a pretty nice catch again, by the way. So we're kind of driving the field once again. The thing I will notice about this, though, is that the computer has a really, really hard time actually guarding all of our receivers. I'm not sure if it's because we have a good team or what exactly is going on, but like right here, we have like two guys wide open. It was just a bad pass. But under normal circumstances, it should have been actually a pretty easy touchdown for us. That time we didn't have anyone to throw it to, and so now here comes the big test, which is whether we can actually make a field goal with Pat Summerall. And apparently we can't. I thought that that was pretty straight too, so I think that that was probably at the edge of his limit. You have to realize that in real life in 1958, you didn't have a lot of guys who were kicking 50-yard field goals. I know that we saw that in the first game of this series. We saw that the Cardinals tried to kick a field goal that was like from way out there or something like that. But that didn't really happen back in those days. Field goal kicking was not at that time the way that it is now. It's not really until the 1970s, I think it is, that you start seeing the so-called soccer-style kickers, guys who would kick with the side of the foot instead of kicking with the toe. And that's really where you see sort of the revolution in the kicking game. Anyway, we've just fallen behind, and I think this is the first time we've played a team that's actually pretty good, so this may be an indication of what we have to face here in this save going forward. So now we're down 14-9, and we better pay attention. Might have been better for us to actually go for it there on that fourth down instead of kicking the field goal. We've had a little bit more success here with the running game. The passing game has not really done very much for us, so maybe we'll run a little bit more here from here on out. Or maybe we won't, I don't know. They do have a couple of linebackers that are looking really, really good. That time, though, we got a first down despite them guessing right, so maybe they're not really that good. I will tell you that it feels at least like things are not quite as juiced with this as they were with the CFL ROM. I think part of that, though, has to do with sort of the quality of the team. I think that we just have a better quality offensive line here. I also think every time I run this play, I really should be throwing it, shallow to Gifford instead of going for the home run. Ah, geez. Yeah, that's a pretty poor catch. All right. Yeah, we'll just let the All-American do his thing. I called the play that I didn't think I called. I accidentally pushed A instead of B. I was expecting to throw that pass. Oh, jeez, man. What an interception. That ruins it for us. Man. Well, so much for that. Anyway, this might not be as easy as the last two games were. Maybe I've gotten a little bit cocky here. We've been able to drive the field, that's pretty good, but we haven't been able to do anything as far as scoring is concerned, so we had the safety to begin it, and I thought that things were going to go our way after that. I do wonder if we're getting a little bit of that effect where the game becomes a little bit harder once you've had success. I would have figured that with most of the juice mode ROMs that would be taken out of it, but I don't have a whole lot of information about this particular file and exactly what kind of editing went into it, so it's possible that there's something like that in the file that I just don't know about. I don't know, or maybe I'm just not playing very well right now. That's also possible. Anyway, yeah, one of the things I learned as I sort of look back at the old footage from the Ottawa save is that there were a number of times, especially in the early games, where I think that you know, we were actually in pretty good situations, but we wound up with either some bad luck or some bad play calls or whatever. But as time went on, and as I sort of got used to those situations and the speed that we had to deal with and stuff like that, I started to get better and better. And I think that's the reason why at the end we started to have a little bit more success. It does, though, if you're used, like I said, if you're used to the way that the base game is played, and you play something like this without being ready for it, it's going to be really, really difficult. I mean, it's just really, really not easy. Even that's not very easy. Man, we were so close to getting another safety there, just didn't happen. Just missed him. All right. The thing about that play is you've got to watch out for the possible quarterback, for the possible fake handoff. There we go. That's exactly what we needed. I was hoping for something like that. So we've had a little bit of good luck here. Let's see if we can capitalize. Oh, that's an awful pass, man. Oh, jeez. This guy, Connerly, is driving me nuts. We may need to change quarterbacks here because he's just not having a good game. Alright, let's see what we can do. I saw that there was somebody in the comments, one of the comments for a different video, talking about how they thought that Madden was superior to Tecmo Super Bowl. I'm going to be honest with you, having spent now quite a bit of time playing old versions of Madden and many versions of this game, I just don't see it. I don't see it with any version of Madden football, including the most recent ones. I just don't see it. I think this is much better. I had him in the grasp, and then I dropped him. So this may end up being our first loss. I've got a feeling that this is not going to go quite the way that we were expecting. But yeah, it's kind of an odd thing to me. I don't fully understand why it is that the gaming world has latched onto Madden the way that it has. Because the classic Madden games are not really that good, and the more modern Madden games end up also not being really that good. The problem with them is that you wind up with games that don't really change year after year. Now, it's not like Tecmo Super Bowl changes, right? It doesn't really change much at all, right? Yeah, we're going to put Heinrich in. Let's see what Heinrich can do for us. I don't think we're going to give him a lot of pressure right from the start, though. All right. But, you know, in terms of things, I've already talked about it in different videos, in terms of things like, you know, blocking schemes and stuff like that, I mean, this game is just so superior to the Madden series, it's not even funny. And I'm serious about that, like, Madden series in terms of, like, blocking, in terms of AI logic and stuff like that, Tecmo Super Bowl is a superior game. Now, whether the like 16-bit versions of Tecmo Super Bowl are superior or not is another question. I'm not sure that they actually would be. Ah, no, 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 no. Oh, look at him go, baby. Look at him go. No one's going to catch him. Oh, man, that ends this game. Joe Walton, what a run back. So that makes it 27-16, and that's going to end this game. 28-16. I mean, technically not. We technically could drive the field, but I don't really see it happening. And I mean, 3 Tecmo Super Bowl minutes, we probably would need to get a run back for a touchdown here, and of course that's not going to happen. Yeah, I don't know about that pass. Man. Boy, what is that, like the 3rd or 4th interception we've given up so far today? See, and I shot the gap and I still couldn't catch him, man. Oh man, this is turning pretty ugly. So, if you thought that this save was way too easy and that we were just going to waltz through every team and that it was going to be no problem, we were going to go undefeated, now you know what it's like. It is nowhere near as easy as you think. And this is what happens in juice mode. I mean, as soon as you make a mistake, geez, man, you make one mistake on defense, you just barely don't catch the guy, and boom, he's gone. Alright, let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can avoid throwing an interception. I mean, because that last time, that guy was open. He was wide open. What was that, Schenkel? Something like that? That's a bad pass. So the problem with that up and B play that I keep calling is that you have that backfield motion, and people who know Tecmo Super Bowl will tell you right away that you don't want to call a lot of plays that have backfield motion like that because you end up wasting time, and that can really, really hurt you. So anyway, let's see if we can get something done here. Yeah, no-name quarterback sack. That's interesting. I was trying to find an open receiver there on that play. I just ran out of time. There's Webster again with a touchdown. That'll make it 21 points for us. 23, I'm sorry. But again, there's really not any way that we're going to engineer a real miracle comeback here. 35-23. Those interceptions really, really hurt. That's points that we sort of leave on the board. And so it is. But it's still a good game. Oh man, look at that catch. Jeez. So they're walking all over us. A lot of points scored in this game, but this time it didn't quite work out for us. They actually outgained us, believe it or not. They had about, what, 300, almost 340 yards, and we were right around 328. We did have 11 first downs, though, and 6 rushes by Gifford for 47 yards is pretty good, but it was Olszewski who was running all over us. Heinrich actually did pretty good, 71% completion percentage, but had that interception. That interception really, really hurt us. And so much for that. We'll go here to the schedule again. We'll skip over to week 6. Next week we play against the Steelers. So, this is not what I wanted. Anyway, so we're just going to end this here, and I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this. That's definitely not what I thought was going to happen. So I'll go reset this. We'll see what we can figure out here. Something's odd about this schedule. Anyway, thanks for coming along and watching this, and yeah, we'll figure out what's going on. There are a couple of weird things happening with this ROM that make me kind of make me believe that it might not work quite as well as advertised. So whatever, we'll play with it. We'll see what happens. If it's broken, it's broken, and then we go play something else. Anyway, hope you're having a good day. Stay out of the snow. Talk to you later.